I think this is the most important tool that you can have as a wrestler. It's simply this: a pen and a piece of paper. When you have a pen and a piece of paper, you can jot down your ideas. You can evaluate your losses. You can evaluate your wins. You should evaluate your wins and say, okay, I know I gave up the first takedown and rebounded. That's a good thing. But how did I give up the first takedown? You know, we like to say this: if someone takes me down 3 times with a single leg, I don't practice single leg defense. I want to rewind the film, and the film in my head even, and evaluate and say, why were they on my legs to begin with? And now you're really starting to be on the course to elite wrestling. But taking a piece of paper, we were kind of in a time, it seems like, you know, coaches, our parents, and even the kids, make me good, make me good, make me good. Well, you know what? I had a great coach, Joe C., and then John Smith was my coach in college at Oklahoma State, and they said, we can make you very good at wrestling, but only you can make yourself great. And I will say I remember getting made fun of by some average wrestlers in high school because I kept a notebook. I would take notes after practice. My brother and I would sit there, you know, before we showered and talk about our practice. And this kid jumped us, you know, and called us dorks or whatever. I was like, okay, whatever, dude, you know. Then when I went to Oklahoma State, I remember Chris Barnes pulling out his notebook, and I was like, undefeated NCAA champion, you know, beating world medalist already, still in college. He has a notebook. Maybe I'm in the right place. Maybe these other kids aren't here because they didn't keep a notebook. But I do think keeping a notebook is probably the most important tool you can have, and it's just important to self-evaluate. Now you're taking the bull by the horns. You know, you've got the wheel. You're sitting there saying, okay, even after practice, just spend some time thinking about the practice and how you scored, how you didn't. You know, take time to be proud of yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. I remember, you know, if we won a big tournament, I sort of enjoyed it, but I really just threw it all away because I just had bigger goals, and I don't think that was a good thing. I think it's important to really sit and evaluate and maybe revel in your success and enjoy those opportunities, or not opportunities, but enjoy those times. And then, you know, say Monday, you get back to the drawing board. But other than just that, I think from a more of a, I tell my kids, evaluate your wrestling matches intellectually, not emotionally. What that means is sit back after you've had time to think. Whether you won or lost, you should evaluate whether you won or you lost. There's always something to learn. There's always an improvement that can be made. We're kind of just tinkering. As long as you're on a good path, you know, you have drill routines, which that's what we're big on, is drill routines. You know, we say, show me how to beat Iowa State. Write that on 2 pieces of paper. Don't waste my time with anything else but that. Make me drill that 2,000 times this season or this year, and you know, that's all I want. And I think if you're on that course, you're on a good path. And then you have to adjust the sails a little bit, you know. You might have not slept the night before, and you're tired the next day, and maybe you should have left the venue, the event, the hectic, the whistles that wears you down. I used to like to get out of the gym and just go take a walk or go sit outside if I could, or just, you know, go sit in the car and take a nap, get away, if that's your deal. You know, maybe you didn't eat right after weigh-ins. Who knows? It's not just a wrestling technique or a wrestling move. Maybe you got too worked up before the match, right? There's a kind of a sports psychology tip that says on a scale of 1 to 10, you should be about a 7 or an 8 on the sort of excitability scale. That's pretty good too, so that could be an issue. So really sit down with a pen and a piece of paper, evaluate your match, not from an emotional standpoint, but, you know, say, hey, I did a great job that match. This match I also did a great job, but I let up there. I cannot do that anymore. You know, maybe the ref made a bad call and you had a panic attack on the mat. You know, you kind of rewind these moments in your head and you go through them again and say, okay, next time what am I going to do? I remember the Olympic Training Center years ago, they had things called situation cards. You write down all these different situations, you know, I'm down by a point, I have to get a takedown, there's 28 seconds left, what's my go-to takedown? Well, you can have kind of a situation cards in your head too, and you can replay these little issues, these areas in your wrestling match where maybe you maybe you should have reacted differently to the bad call made by the official, for example. There's a whole host of things that can happen, but that's just an example. But it's nice if you sit down and you look at, your positioning. How did you score? The technique issues. Maybe evaluate your conditioning. Did you start your warm up too early? All of these things. And now you're really starting to kind of take the wheel, because we never want to do this. We never want to get into the position where we say, there's someone out there that can put me in this place. That's not how it works. I remember a long time ago, the 2000 Olympic trials, Tom Brands from Iowa, Olympic champ, who was talking about his brother. And he was like, hey, Terry's got to put himself on the Olympic team. I can't put him there. His coaches can't put him there. He's in the semis now. He's got a couple tough opponents. He's got to do it. No one can help him but him. If Terry wants to make the Olympic team, Terry's got to do it. And there was some coaches clinic or something that Tom was doing, and I that really kind of it's right, but it also kind of struck me. It's a harsh reality, I guess you could say. And so I think that if we learn to take that and say, it's up to me. We have a saying in our wrestling room, I say all the time, your teacher can't make you smart, your boss can't make you rich, and your coaches can't make you great at wrestling. We always have to just look at the opportunities and training and help. But, there's a good saying, Jim Rohn says, you can't hire someone to do your push-ups for you. You have to do your push-ups yourself. So keeping a notebook, taking notes, that's a good way to do your push-ups in a way. And you're going to find that your wrestling will soar if you do that. So there's some good advice. Get a pen, piece of paper, actually a nice 3-prong binder, notebook, put your goals at the front, put some graphics on it, make it a real cool notebook, something that you're excited about. You could even have different tabs like, my practice session. Then you have your technique session where you list all the techniques that you know. Then you have your practice evaluation section. Then you have your post-tournament or post-match evaluation section. No one has to read it but you. Then you might have your weightlifting program. You might have a nutritional area there that you throw notes in. You might have a motivational section. And then you can put motivational kind of clips in it's just nice to flip through. And because there's nothing better than a little bit of daily motivation. So there's some good advice, and hopefully that makes sense. Good luck to everyone this year. Check us out at purlerwrestling.com, and hit the subscribe button. Share this if it helped, and we appreciate you paying attention to our video clips.